Well, this is it. The election is over, and it's leaving a lot of people out there holding their breath and wondering what's next. The next administration has some massive changes they're looking to implement, and you don't have to look very far to find out where a lot of these new policies are being conceptualized. Make no mistake, what you'll see in the next few months and the next 4 years is the evangelical agenda for America. There's a very strong argument to be made that without the evangelical voting bloc, the upcoming administration never would have won in the first place. So now that we're here, I think we have to ask one really important question. If the evangelical voting bloc and the politicians that represent them fully had their way with no checks and balances, what would America look like? I genuinely think the people supporting this agenda believe that it will make America prosperous. But the big question is, prosperous for who? I want to talk about the extremes for a moment, not because it will happen, but because there's absolutely a group of Christians out there that want it to happen. If the evangelicals fully had their way, would a woman's right to choose completely disappear in this country? If the evangelicals fully had their way, would they abolish everything that isn't a heterosexual marriage? If evangelicals fully had their way, would they institute Christianity as a national religion and require it to be taught in all public schools in the country? If the evangelicals fully had their way, would they allow other religions to exist in this country? And if so, to what extent? If the evangelicals fully had their way, would all drugs and even alcohol become illegal again? I think we really have to start asking ourselves, what is the endgame of the evangelical agenda? I think this holds massive social and political implications for the country. But beyond that, I think we're getting a real picture of who the evangelicals actually worship. Does the evangelical agenda really represent the Jesus they teach about in the Bible? Is the evangelical really full of mercy and peace and grace and equality and justice and inclusivity and above all love? Or is the evangelical agenda full of power and manipulation and control and exclusivity? I think it's high time we said the quiet part out loud. The evangelical agenda is not a Christian agenda. It's not a Jesus agenda. It's an agenda of a radical right-wing cult who's co-opted the name of Jesus to further their power and their control, all in order to not serve the greater good of the American people, but to serve their own self-interest. This is the evangelical plan for America.